Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. If you're new here, my name is Elena and I am the homeschooling mama to 3 kiddos. I'm going to talk about New Year's Eve and what that looks like with kids for us. So if you've been following us for a while, you probably get the gist, or maybe you haven't, that our family really enjoys our family time. My husband is incredibly hardworking, and so when we get our quality time with our little family together, it is just the best for us. There was a period in mine and my husband's life when we were younger, when going out for New Year's was fun and more exciting, I guess. But honestly, even in my like 20s and things like that, I was not a big New Year's Eve kind of person. Just going out just was overwhelming to me. It was a little too much. I preferred to stay in and celebrate that way. And then as my husband and our relationship grew, we got engaged, we got married, we ended up having kiddos. We kind of started our own traditions and things to do for New Year's Eve. And so today I'm just going to share with you a couple of the things and how that looks for our family. So we for sure stay in for New Year's Eve, and most of the time we don't even stay up until midnight. We have tried a couple of times as my oldest has gotten older to stay up until midnight, but even he is like, that's it, that's what I waited for. It is very exciting, the countdown and kind of watching it. But we have learned with the power of television that you can start counting down with different countries and different states, different time zones at different times. We were in California, and that's kind of, we would be able to count down to like Eastern Standard Time, which was 3 hours ahead, and kind of worked out perfectly because we were still able to have the kiddos count down with the states, but it was early enough where we could be like, okay, it's technically past the little's bedtime, but early enough to still get a good night's sleep. That's kind of what we're going to still continue on with this year. When my kids were really, really young, we would even do a noonday countdown. So we would wait until 11:59 in the morning and then count down until 12 o'clock noon versus 12 o'clock midnight. So if you have really small littles and you don't want to stay up, that's also an idea too. That way they get the feel of the countdown, but it isn't way past bedtimes and it doesn't make for cranky kids or cranky parents in the morning. Another one of the favorite things that we do most years, we've done this for the past couple of years, hit and miss, is this printable from Not Consumed. I will link her website down below with access to this printable. You do have to enter your email to get access to the printable, but she advises that you can download and save it and then you just have it for life or for the life of when you have that document, right? We really enjoy this printable because it also has scriptures to go along with it. She has on her website a whole kind of New Year's Eve celebration that she did with her kids that looks really exciting. I believe they had like balloons tied up with each of the printable squares kind of rolled up into it, and she started counting down. She started counting down by hour, and then I think as it got closer, they did half-hour increments. So she has 9 little squares of printables, and you can map out your timeline however you like. That's usually what we end up doing. But she had them in balloons, and then the kids got to pop the balloons at certain times. We don't do that because the popping of balloons is not an enjoyable experience in our house. My youngest does not like that sound, and so out of respect, we don't do the balloon popping, but you could do lots of other things with it. Normally what we have done is we've just cut them out and had them. This year I think I might do a scavenger hunt of sorts and put them around the house and have the kids find them, and then what we do is read the scripture and then read the question that goes with it. One of the questions or the statements goes with Jeremiah 29:11, and Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you future and a hope." And then with that, she asked you to name one great thing that God did in your life this year. Another prompt is Micah 7:7, and Micah 7:7 says, "But as for me, I will look to the Lord. I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me." And the prompt that goes with that says, name one thing that you will be waiting on God to do this year. And I just find that these make really great conversation starters. These are just things that your kids and you can talk about, and it just is a great bonding experience, really. And it's really fun to go through with the kiddos. So like I said, I will link her website in the description box down below so you can check those out. Another really fun thing is to just go on Pinterest and find these kinds of New Year's questions to ask and make your own kind of New Year's capsule or snapshot of what your life looks like right now. These can be really fun to come back in later years and look on and see how the kids and you have answered these questions. I really like family-friendly questions that we can do together because the kids get to hear mom and dad's answers versus having different questions for the parents and the children. You can always set goals as a family as well. We typically, because we homeschool, set homeschool goals at the beginning of like September or the end of August. I'll sit down with the kiddos and kind of talk over with them what grade they're going into, what kind of expectations we have, what kind of expectations they have for the school year, and set ourselves some goals up that way. But the great thing about goals is you can always come back and look at them again and kind of evaluate where you're at and reset them. But I think that family goals would be an excellent thing to do together. And what better time than the New Year's when everyone's making all kinds of goals and setting themselves up for success. And then just a silly fun tradition, or not so silly, but just a fun tradition that the kids look forward to that my husband and I actually started to do when we were engaged is our dinner. So our dinner is very uncomplicated. It is just cheeseburgers and champagne for the adults and maybe some sparkling water or apple cider for the kiddos. Is it apple cider? I'm thinking of apple cider vinegar. It's the apple stuff, you know, the bubbly sweet stuff. So that's always fun to do, and sometimes if they don't want to go for the sweet stuff, plain old apple juice in a fancy cup will work. But it's just something that my kids know that this is typically what we have for New Year's. It's kind of a fun meal that everybody in our family enjoys. So we will either grab takeout of cheeseburgers, but honestly in the past few years we found it to be more fun just to have my husband grill up some cheeseburgers at home, and then that way we all know that we're home just together. And like I said, that for us is just joy and warmth, and we really enjoy those times. This year, to be quite honest, we are thinking of switching it up a little and maybe having fish sandwiches instead of regular cheeseburgers, but who knows, we'll see. It's going to be up to the kiddos. We're going to hold a vote and see what we want to have, but that's something that the kiddos know that we're going to have for New Year's Eve. We're going to have a fun dinner, and then I'll be able to sit around the table, God willing, together. And that really is it. What I love about the printable that I showed earlier is that because there are 9, you can do all or none, or you can do some. You can choose just one question to ask, but you can choose your timeline. If you want to do one every hour, or you want to do one every 30 minutes, you can pick your timeline of when you want to do that and how much time you want to give before your timeline. So you don't have to wait until midnight to do a countdown. You can do a countdown at any time. Turn that TV on and find a time zone that works for you and count down with them. And then I will note that we have at certain points in our lives been in some areas that are quieter during New Year's, and then some areas that are a little bit louder. So if my kiddos do wake up and there are fireworks or stuff happening where it wakes them up, we don't quickly rush them off to bed. We go ahead and let them enjoy the fireworks if they want to, and just kind of hang out with them for a little bit and then quietly get them back to bed as soon as it's done. But the majority of our household is not awake come the midnight hour. And really that's it. I just wanted to share a little bit of what New Year's Eve looks like for us and to share our ideas with you to see if maybe you wanted to adopt any of these. I'd love to hear how you and your family celebrate New Year's Eve. If you have any fun traditions or special plans, let us know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I truly, truly appreciate you taking your time out and spending it with me. It means the world to me and my family to have you in our little YouTube community. If you are not part of our subscriber and our little YouTube family, maybe go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Be sure to hit the bell notification. We just finished up our countdown to Christmas, so 24 videos in 24 days. If you missed that, I will link the playlist for you so you can kind of catch up on our shenanigans for the month of December. And then typically I post every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.